Hello and welcome to part 2 of the 10 hardest truths I have learned as a safety practitioner. So we are going to head straight into number 6. Credibility equals influence. The foundation of everything. Authority means nothing without credibility. I've seen new managers with impressive credentials fail to implement safety changes because workers didn't trust them, while veteran supervisors with basic training commanded enormous respect because workers knew they genuinely cared and understood the real challenges. Credibility requires 3 things: competence, consistency, and care. Workers need to believe you understand their environment, that your recommendations are practical, and that you're motivated by their well-being, not compliance metrics or career advancement. Technical knowledge helps, but it's not enough. PhD-level experts get ignored when workers see them as out of touch, while former frontline workers with basic safety training earn trust because they understand what it takes to work safely in the real world. Build credibility through consistent actions. Follow through on commitments, admit when you don't know something, show up during tough situations, and prioritize worker well-being over convenience when genuine safety issues arise. Remember, once credibility is lost, it's nearly impossible to rebuild quickly. Your influence is directly proportional to your credibility. Invest in understanding, consistency, and genuine care above everything else. Number 7. The safety department. The official dumping ground. If something goes wrong and no one knows who should handle it, it becomes a safety issue. I've been asked to solve problems ranging from employee conflicts to facility maintenance issues to quality control problems, simply because they might potentially affect safety. This happens because safety has become the catch-all function for anything that could theoretically impact worker well-being. While this recognition of safety's importance is positive, it often dilutes focus from core safety functions and creates unrealistic expectations about what safety professionals can accomplish. The challenge is learning to say no while remaining helpful. When facility maintenance asks you to solve their ventilation problem, the right response isn't to become a ventilation expert. It's to help them understand the safety implications and support their solution development. When HR asks you to resolve a conflict between workers, your role might be to address any safety impacts of that conflict rather than becoming a mediator. Setting boundaries doesn't mean being uncooperative. It means focusing your expertise where it adds the most value while helping others understand their roles in maintaining safe operations. Sometimes the best safety decision is to ensure problems are handled by the right people rather than trying to solve everything yourself. The lesson: clarity about your role protects both your effectiveness and the organization's safety. Support others in solving safety-related problems rather than becoming the default solution to every problem. Number 8. Your job isn't to change the culture. Culture change is a popular concept in safety management, but attempting to change culture directly is often counterproductive. Culture isn't something you change, it's something that emerges from the systems, behaviors, and experiences you create. I spent years trying to change attitudes and beliefs directly through communication campaigns, motivational speakers, and culture surveys. The results were disappointing because I was addressing symptoms rather than causes. Culture is the collective result of what gets rewarded, what gets tolerated, and what gets addressed when things go wrong. Instead of trying to change culture, focus on changing systems and behaviors. When you consistently demonstrate that safety concerns are taken seriously and addressed promptly, culture shifts toward openness. When you ensure that doing the right thing is also the easy thing, culture shifts toward compliance. When you make safety competence a valued skill rather than just a compliance requirement, culture shifts toward engagement. The most effective cultural changes I've witnessed were byproducts of operational changes. Better communication systems led to more open reporting. Simplified procedures led to better compliance. Fair and thorough incident investigations led to increased trust. Clear expectations and consistent follow-through led to higher accountability. The lesson: create the conditions you want to see, and culture will follow. Focus on systems and behaviors rather than trying to change hearts and minds directly. Number 9. Build ownership, not dependency. One of my biggest mistakes early in my career was solving every safety problem myself. It felt efficient and ensured things were done right, but it created a system where people waited for me to identify problems and implement solutions. When I was unavailable, safety activities ground to a halt. Building ownership means developing others' capability to identify hazards, assess risks, and implement solutions independently. It means asking, "What do you think we should do?" instead of immediately providing answers. It means involving workers in developing procedures they'll need to follow and giving supervisors the tools and authority to address safety issues in their areas. This approach is slower initially, but far more sustainable. When workers develop their own solutions to safety challenges, they understand the reasoning behind procedures and are more likely to follow them consistently. When supervisors can address routine safety issues without escalating everything, problems get solved faster and more appropriately. The goal is to make yourself less essential for routine safety management while remaining available for complex issues and strategic guidance. Success is measured not by how much you're needed, but by how effectively safety is managed when you're not directly involved. The lesson: your effectiveness is ultimately measured by how well safety functions without you. Build capability in others rather than dependency on yourself. Lastly, number 10. If you're not in the field, you're out of touch. Office-based safety management is theoretical safety management. The real challenges, innovative solutions, and emerging hazards exist where the work actually happens. I learned this when a procedure I'd carefully crafted was completely impractical because I'd missed a crucial detail about how the work was actually performed. Regular field presence isn't just about visibility or relationship building, it's about competence. Workplaces are dynamic environments where conditions, equipment, and processes constantly evolve. What you observed last month might be outdated today. The procedure that worked perfectly in ideal conditions might fail when equipment is aging, weather is poor, or production demands are high. Field time also provides context that's impossible to capture in reports or meetings. You can't understand the noise level that makes communication difficult, the physical demands that make certain procedures challenging, or the subtle cues that experienced workers use to identify problems unless you're present in the environment. The most effective safety professionals I know spend significant time in operational areas, not just during formal inspections, but during routine work activities. They understand how theoretical hazards manifest in practice, how workers adapt procedures to real conditions, and where unofficial but effective safety practices have developed. The lesson: your office should be your workspace, not your primary location. Safety expertise requires constant calibration with operational reality. Conclusion: embracing reality for better results. These hard truths aren't meant to discourage. They're meant to redirect energy toward approaches that actually work. The gap between safety theory and safety practice is real, but it's also navigable when you understand the terrain. The most effective safety professionals I've encountered have learned to work with human nature rather than against it, to focus on systems rather than slogans, and to measure success by meaningful outcomes rather than comfortable metrics. They've developed influence through credibility, created simplicity from complexity, and built sustainable safety performance by developing others' capabilities. Safety work is fundamentally about people, understanding their motivations, addressing their concerns, and supporting their success. When we align our approaches with these realities instead of fighting them, we create safety systems that don't just look good on paper, but actually protect people in practice. The journey from idealistic safety professional to effective safety leader involves accepting these hard truths and learning to work within them. It's not about lowering standards or accepting compromise. It's about focusing your efforts where they'll have the greatest impact on the outcomes that matter most, preventing injuries and protecting lives. That's it for now. I hope you gained some knowledge from these videos, and I am sure some of you have been in similar situations. Thank you all. Have a safe and healthy day.